In the 1960s, rock music stopped entertaining and started fighting back. It became the voice of protest, the soundtrack of rebellion, and the fuel behind a generation that refused to stay quiet. Songs were no longer written just to sell records. They were written to challenge power, demand change, and wake up the world. What started as music became a movement. These anthems broke barriers, crossed lines, and turned artists into icons of resistance. Today, we revisit the songs that proved rock and roll could shake more than speakers, it could shake entire systems. What does resistance sound like? For many, it sounds exactly like For What It's Worth by Buffalo Springfield. With its haunting guitar riff and Stephen Still's calm but urgent vocals, the song became a defining anthem of protest. It was written in response to clashes between young people and police, but its message reached far beyond one street or one city. The song captured a growing tension in American culture, a generation standing up, demanding to be heard. Lines like, "There's something happening here," felt less like lyrics and more like a warning. It resonated with anyone who sensed that change was coming, whether through protest, music, or simply refusing to back down. For What It's Worth spread quickly, embraced by anti-war movements, civil rights activists, and anyone who felt out of step with authority. It wasn't loud, but it was powerful, proving that sometimes the quietest songs carry the sharpest messages. Its legacy lives on in films, documentaries, and any moment where music meets resistance. Few songs have asked bigger questions than "Blowin' in the Wind" by Bob Dylan. Released in 1963, it sounded like a folk tune but carried the weight of generations. Dylan's calm, clear voice delivered lines that felt ancient and urgent all at once. The song became an anthem for the civil rights movement and anti-war protests alike. Its brilliance lay in its simplicity: questions with no answers. Answers that seemed just out of reach. How many roads? How many deaths? The wind might know, but humanity still had work to do. Blowin' in the Wind traveled far beyond coffee shops and folk clubs. It reached marches, rallies, and classrooms, carried by people who believed music could help change the world. Dylan never offered solutions. He handed the questions to his listeners and trusted them to carry the weight. Some songs offer comfort, this one offered a challenge. And it continues to ask those same questions today. Are we still searching for those answers? I don't know what's up there. Hope and Heartbreak Walk Hand in Hand Through a Change Is Gonna Come by Sam Cooke. Released in 1964, it became one of the most important songs of the civil rights era. Cooke's soulful voice carried not just melody, but generations of pain, struggle, and quiet faith. Oh, yes it is. The song was born from Cooke's own experiences with racism, injustice, and frustration. Yet, instead of anger, he delivered a message of hope. It's been a long time coming, sounded like both sorrow and strength. It gave people courage to believe in something better, even when evidence seemed scarce. Oh no, I lost. A Change Is Gonna Come became more than music. It became a promise, passed from one generation to the next. Its impact stretched far beyond charts or sales. It became part of history, sung at protests, funerals, and celebrations of progress. It reminded people that change might be slow, but it was unstoppable. Fortunate Son by Creedence Clearwater Revival didn't just criticize it, exploded with frustration. From the opening guitar riff to John Fogerty's searing vocals, it called out the hypocrisy of privilege during the Vietnam War. The song drew a clear line between those sent to fight and those protected by wealth and connections. It ain't me. It ain't me. Its message was raw, direct, and impossible to ignore. While many protest songs leaned on folk traditions, Creedence Clearwater Revival delivered theirs with rock and roll ferocity. "It ain't me, I ain't no senator's son" became more than a lyric. It became a battle cry for fairness and accountability. Radio stations played it. Soldiers blasted it overseas. Protesters carried its words on signs and through megaphones. Fortunate Son didn't ask for change politely. It demanded it with grit and defiance. Its energy captured the anger and exhaustion of a generation tired of watching others play by different rules. White Rabbit by Jefferson Airplane sounded like nothing else when it hit the airwaves. Its haunting bass line, hypnotic rhythm, and Grace Slick's commanding vocals created a song that felt like a dream and a threat at the same time. It was a psychedelic anthem wrapped in literary references, pushing boundaries with every note. The song used Lewis Carroll's Wonderland as a metaphor for expanding minds and rejecting societal norms. Lines like "Go Ask Alice" weren't just about fantasy, they pointed toward rebellion, questioning authority, and exploring altered states of consciousness. In 1967, that message landed like a shockwave. White Rabbit became tied to the counterculture, drug experimentation, and the demand for freedom from conformity. It wasn't just a song, it was a signal that things were changing fast, and nothing was sacred anymore. Jefferson Airplane didn't hide their intentions. They painted them in bold, vivid sound. When Jimi Hendrix reimagined All Along the Watchtower, he didn't just cover it, he transformed it. Originally written by Bob Dylan, the song became something entirely new in Hendrix's hands. His guitar work turned every note into fire, every lyric into prophecy. The song's cryptic verses spoke of chaos, change, and the collapse of old systems. Hendrix made them sound urgent, apocalyptic, and alive. His version captured the turbulence of the late 60s better than words alone ever could. It was not just music, it felt like a storm breaking overhead. Radio stations embraced it immediately, and it became one of Hendrix's most enduring recordings. Its influence stretched far beyond its release, inspiring countless artists and reminding listeners that music could be both beautiful and unsettling. Hendrix had created more than a hit, he had crafted a masterpiece of tension and release. Aretha Franklin's Respect was more than a hit, it became a demand heard around the world. With her powerhouse vocals and unstoppable energy, she transformed a song written by Otis Redding into a fierce anthem of empowerment. It was not just about gender, it was about dignity, pride, and refusing to be ignored. Aretha's delivery gave the song its fire. Every respect rang out like a battle cry, turning something simple into something revolutionary. It spoke to women fighting for recognition, to communities tired of injustice, and to anyone who had ever been told to stay quiet. The impact was immediate and permanent. Respect topped the charts and became an anthem for the civil rights and feminist movements. It proved that soul music could carry the weight of protest while still making people dance. Aretha Franklin's voice became a symbol of strength the world could not silence. Janis Joplin didn't just sing "Piece of My Heart," she tore through it with everything she had. Backed by Big Brother and the Holding Company, Joplin's raw, ferocious performance turned the song into an anthem for heartbreak, survival, and defiance. It wasn't polished, but it was unforgettable. Her voice captured pain and power in equal measure. Each note sounded like a fight to stay standing, like an act of rebellion against every expectation placed on women in music and beyond. Joplin gave permission to feel everything loudly, without apology. The song resonated far beyond its release. "Piece of My Heart" became a rallying cry for anyone who had been broken down but refused to stay broken. It solidified Janis Joplin's legacy as a force who lived and performed on her own terms. Like a rolling stone, shattered every rule about what a song could be. At over 6 minutes, with its sneering vocals and cryptic lyrics, it didn't sound like anything on the radio in 1965. Bob Dylan tore apart expectations of folk and rock with one song. The song's message was clear beneath its poetry. Nothing lasts forever, not fame, not fortune, not comfort. Dylan delivered it with a voice full of bite, turning questions into accusations and choruses into exclamations. It wasn't about sympathy, it was about survival and brutal honesty. Listeners didn't just hear the song, they felt it. How does it feel? Wasn't just a lyric, it was a challenge. Dylan's masterpiece reshaped popular music, opening the door for artists to push boundaries and break molds without looking back. What happens when comfort finally runs out? The Beatles had already conquered the world, but Revolution showed they still had something to say. Unlike their softer, more introspective songs, this track came out swinging. Distorted guitars, shouted vocals, and pointed lyrics made it clear this was not peace and love alone. This was anger, frustration, and the urgency of change. John Lennon didn't offer easy answers. He questioned violence, skepticism, and blind loyalty. "You say you want a revolution?" he asked, but he wasn't offering slogans. He was challenging listeners to think harder about what change really meant and what they were willing to risk for it. Revolution split opinions, sparked debates, and proved that even the biggest band in the world wasn't afraid to get political. It became a song not just of its time, but for every time people ask themselves how far they are willing to go. Some songs captured a moment, others captured a movement. The 60s showed the world that music could be more than entertainment. It could be resistance, hope, anger, and change wrapped in 3 minutes of melody. These anthems didn't just break records, they broke silence. From marches to radios, from streets to stages, these songs became part of history because they refused to back down. Their voices still echo today, reminding us that music has the power to challenge, inspire, and unite. If you want to keep discovering the stories behind the songs that changed everything, subscribe and join us for more journeys into the music that moved the world.